Big up, big up, big up. This is Solo P1. This is the F1 weekend, the Japanese Grand Prix review weekend. We're going to talk about what happened in practice qualifying, and we're also going to talk about what happened in the interviews and stuff like that, and what the media is saying. So, this is the Japanese Grand Prix. Be back in a minute. I'll just go and put the intro on.
On the brakes, Leclerc has that inside line. Perez goes off the track, comes into gate, off goes Leclerc, through goes Hamilton. Unbelievable stuff.
This is Solo P1. Welcome back again. Wow, what a weekend of Formula One. This is one of my favourite tracks as well. When I was growing up, this is the track I used to watch a lot. This Silverstone and Spa, 3 favourite tracks. I've went on the record to say that. Really, really love this track. But since the ground effect kicks in, it's kind of not made it good. You can't really follow. Once you do follow, you're in the dirty air, and the ground effects of cars just can't handle it. So, you know, it is what it is. We're going to talk about what happened at the end and before. We're going to talk about tyres if you want to. I'm not sure if you want to listen to that. But I'm going to bring in my coke. He's my partner in crime, Toto Abba. Toto Abba, where are you, bro? Toto Hammer. Toto Hammer. There you go. The camera, big up. So, Toto, this one is in the bag, the Japanese Grand Prix. I know we had high hopes for this, because I know it's one of your favourite tracks. It's the driver's track, you know. But you know what? It was disappointing. Even the commentators, Crofty said, I'm trying to find something exciting about this weekend. And it was a big flop. It was a flop. And it's a shame, because this is one of my favourite tracks, as you know, and I know it's one of your favourite tracks. But the cars just can't follow in at this track anymore, especially with the ground effects. When I was growing up, watching Formula One, before the ground effect kicked in, this track was one of the highlights of the calendar. And it used to be towards the end of the season, October, early November. But they've moved it to March now, April. So, what was your overall thoughts of the weekend, Toto?
Yeah, there weren't really much action, was there?
No.
There weren't really much action. I think that was due to the lack of overtaking opportunities. You think it was more down to the strategy? Yes, there was a couple overtaking opportunities, like, of course, the straights, and maybe that another fast straight where there's a fast bend.
Yeah.
Maybe that as an overtaking opportunity. But you think about most of the track, and there's not really much overtaking opportunities. But yeah, I think overall it was a okay weekend. I think practice was a bit interesting, regarding the grass fires and all that, avoiding teams not really getting to do a long run. But I think the overall result, I'll be happy with it. Norris still leading the championship.
Talking about that. Sorry for interrupting, bro. Talking of that, yeah. What do you think of this dynamics between Toto and Piastri? Where do you think they're gonna go with it? You think because they're gonna have to make a decision eventually.
Piastri.
No, Piastri and Lando. Sorry, Piastri and Lando. The dynamics between the team and everything. Where do you think they're gonna eventually hang their hat up and say, you know what, that's the guy we're going for? Big up to Benjamin, by the way. Yo, big up every time. Thank you for joining us.
The championship.
Yeah, where do you think they're gonna go to? Do you think they're gonna start? Because what I felt a bit awkward, what I felt a bit strange. I know we're gonna talk about it in the race, but do you remember when they were both racing each other, okay, towards the end or halfway through. And then all of a sudden, Piastri looked like he had more pace in it. Because remember, you kept saying that, your WhatsApp, you kept saying, oh, Lando, his pace is not there. I thought Lando was just preserving his tyres, but a lot of people thought that Lando didn't have the pace. Everybody thought that Piastri had the pace. But there was no team orders to say, all right, let him overtake to see if he can catch Max Verstappen. What did you think of that? Did you think like they're gonna favour Lando Norris over Piastri?
Look, at the end of the day, right? If Lando would have let Piastri go by, Verstappen would have been the lead of the championship because Verstappen currently is only 1 point behind Norris.
Okay, that's what it is.
And Piastri at the moment is on 49 points, so he's like 20 or so, 15 or so points behind the leader. So I think McLaren at the moment will probably give it a few more races because Lando at the moment is getting the better of Piastri in terms of points. He's leading the championship. Verstappen's only 1 point behind him. They don't want to take any risks. They don't want to sacrifice Norris. And lose points for Verstappen beyond the championship. Of course, they'll gain more points to constructors because there's two drivers up there, but I'm sure they'll want to win the drivers as well. Of course, that's not to do with the constructors, but of course, they want to get the whole lot. McLaren does. So if Norris had a chance, was in that chance that Verstappen's creeping up behind him in terms of points, and he had a chance to let Piastri go and lose points, I don't think he would do that because Norris wants his title. He wants his title this season, so I think it was understandable. And in a way, as a British person, I'm glad that Norris, because I'm supporting Norris. I want him anything other than Max. I'm supporting. So, Norris at the moment, it was a good decision that he never let Piastri go because he would have lost points. Yeah,
I think on that situation, big up, and Benjamin says don't really know much about Formula 1, but I'm just here to vibe. Yeah, big up, man. Thanks for joining us, man. Thanks for joining us today. I think that Lando Norris was preserving his tyres to make a late charge. That's what I think. Because he didn't want to go out and try and go faster while his teammates behind him and then his tyres goes. And then in the long run, he ends up losing pace. And then Piastri passes him anyway. And then he ends up third or even maybe fourth. So I think Lando Norris was playing a smart game. And I think the team knew this as well. This is why you didn't hear the team say, look, Piastri's got the pace. Because I think Lando Norris was just preserving his tyres for a late charge. And if you actually watch through the race, he did try to late charge. But what was interesting for me, Max Verstappen said he knew if this was Bahrain or a normal track where you can overtake, he knows that the McLaren would have passed him. He knows this. He said that himself. He said the reason what kept him going is because of this track, because he knows it's hard to overtake, especially in the ground effect cars, because the ground effects cars, it's all about the floor. And you know this, Toto. And the better the floor, where the air can go through the car and out again as quick as possible, that's usually the fastest car. It's all about ground effects. And this is why these cars today are not good. The ground effect cars are not good for a track like Suzuka. Because Suzuka, back in the day, when you used to watch Formula 1, Vettel and that was there, how good was this track? It was absolutely amazing to watch the cars, but as soon as the ground effect kicked in, we're having problems following the car. So I don't really expect. I still think when the next race comes, Bahrain, I think McLaren the order will be restored, and then they'll get back to winning races again. I'm not saying they're going to win the title because we're not going to know really until the 6th or 7th race in. Because look at the first 3 races total. Australia, you can't overtake. China, not really the best track to really judge your speed on. And now, Suzuka. When we start getting into the 3rd, the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th race, Then we'll have a blueprint. We'll have a little fair idea where it's going to go, the championship. But at the moment, McLaren have the advantage. What did you think of Orlando's maturity at the end where he goes, we lost, couldn't really overtake, but it's still good points, we move on. That's a completely different Lando from last season.
Yeah, because you think about last season in his interview, you always put himself down.
Yeah.
He was putting himself down and saying, "Oh yeah, at the end of the day, we lost." And
that's the one.
Look. End of the day, right? If you want to win if you want to win a title, if you want to win a championship, you've got to have a good mentality. If you're not right up there, then you might as well forget it. Because as soon as you lost it in the head,
it's a wrap.
It's just, you'll try things that you haven't tried before. You'll start to spit your dummy at the pram. You just don't want that, really. But you can see the complete change of attitude. He's more cooler. Like, to compare it to Piastri, for an example, he's always like, yeah, we'll move on and that. And I'm glad that Norris has probably took a feather out of his playbook and started to act like that as well, because you've got to keep a cool head. He's got to think about the long run. You can't be putting himself down over 4 races. You can't do that. You need to be keeping a consistent mindset, a good mindset throughout the whole season.
Exactly.
If you want to go win a title.
Exactly.
Look at Lewis, for an example. Like when he got robbed at Abu Dhabi, he didn't drop his head.
Yeah.
Mate, yeah, he was gutted and he was upset. Absolutely devastated with these stupid decisions, but we move. And look how he's recorded after that.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, you're right. A complete contrast. Difference is unbelievable. How much he's matured within a year. Yes, I think last year that's the first time he was in contention for a title. I think he did leave it too late, McLaren did. They only started picking up the speed when Miami kicked in. But after that, there was there, and then I think when he got to the business end of the season, I think he cracked under pressure. He started putting himself down. I remember, what's his name? The British driver, the one who won the world title with the Brawn. Forgot his name now. How can I forget his name? Jensen Button.
Yeah.
Anyway, Jensen, right? Jensen Button. He said he needed him last season when he kept putting himself down. He says he doesn't need to put himself down, yeah? He needs to he's in a good car. He needs to be more positive. And I think Lando Norris is coming to this season. He says, I know how to beat Max Verstappen. He's going to go for it. It is what it is, isn't it? We're going to move. So what we're going to do, we're going to start talking about the qualifying sessions and practice overall. I'm going into the qualifying session. Let's start with the qualifying session. McLaren looked really fast in qualifying. Qualifying 1, first couple of runs, Piastri and Norris was at the top. So it was like order restored. Qualifying session. It was like order restored. And they looked fast. They looked fast in Q1. So at the end of Q1, he had Russell, Norris, Leclerc. Leclerc was fast as well. So it looked like Ferrari was showing some speed. What's your thoughts on? Did you see that thing about Lewis Hamilton regarding his
impeding
his car? With his car, he said that his car is not as good at the moment. He needs to sort it out. They found out the problem, but they haven't fixed it yet. Something to do. They're actually making a bit for his car. He said it's very stiff, the rear. So they're trying to sort that out. What's your thoughts? Because it seems like Lewis Hamilton is one step behind Leclerc at the moment. What's your thoughts on that situation?
It's kind of concerning in my opinion. I think.
Yeah.
You're talking about qualifying, or you want to talk about
overall weekend? Yeah, we'll talk about qualifying now. I want about after the weekend. He was saying that they need to fix his car regarding the rear.
Yeah, because you can see there's a change of strategy as well in the race. That Leclerc's more on the faster strategy, I'll say.
Yeah.
More on the softer tyre, and Lewis is more of an experiment. That's what I'm looking at now, because Lewis is always good on the long runs. He's always the test dummy. He's always the strategy dummy, and always.
I don't know about
that. I'm thinking like that for some reason, because Leclerc's like on the shorter strategy, not shorter strategy. I'm saying the fastest tyre, softer tyre. That's not necessarily the fastest overall, but he's always starting the softer tyre, and Lewis is always the one going long and long just to see how things turn out. Maybe I was going a bit far with the test dummy.
No, I'm talking about just this weekend. I'm talking about this weekend. He said at the end, he said the part that they're trying to find for his car. He said in the interview, he says they found out what the problem is, but they haven't figured out how to fix it. But he said it's something to do with the rear.
Lewis's past couple of races hasn't been performing.
No, I reckon he outperformed him in the last one.
He did,
but they had his points taken off him.
On about this weekend.
Okay.
He weren't really performing to the best of his ability. Like Leclerc got the better of him all weekend. I don't know if it was a setup. He said it was a wing problem, wasn't it?
Yeah, the rear wing. He said it's too stiff.
Rear wing problem. So yeah, that's probably something to do with the setup chain, maybe, or something like that. But yeah, you can see
there is definitely a problem with his car.
Yeah, Lewis didn't really get the better of Leclerc this week. And Leclerc felt more comfortable with the car, and you can see Ferrari all weekend. I think Ferrari in general, that car wasn't good around here.
I know there's a lot of cars that really wasn't good around here.
Think about the Mercedes, like George Russell's car. Oh, absolutely amazing, man.
Yeah,
going around them wings, going around the bends, still nice and smooth and stable. But if you think about the Ferrari car, you're fighting with it basically. You're fighting with it.
Yeah, I think Charles's car looks okay, but it's still not as. It still doesn't look as
good. In general, the Ferrari weren't good.
It still doesn't look as good in race trim anyway. It still doesn't look as good. I think in the qualifying trim, the Charles Leclerc's car doesn't look that bad, but in race trim, I think the Mercedes one looks faster. In race trim than the Ferrari in the race trim part. But yeah, at the end of the first qualifying, it was Piastri, Russell, Norris, and Leclerc. They were the top four. Q2, we're going to Q2. Norris was top Q2. Russell was second, like I said. Mercedes showing some promise. Verstappen was third. And that was it. And that's it really. So it was similar to the last two races. But Lewis wasn't in that top three. He wasn't in that top three where we thought he was going to be. And that's why he was talking about his car. He said he's going to sort his car out, see what happens. I'm sure that Ferrari will pick up and sort that out, the issue out. Lucky they've recognised it now, early. You get me? So yeah. So Q3, Russell went first. Piastri went out first to do his pace. Kind of slipped in one of the sectors. Didn't go off the track, but his back end went off. So that kind of compromised his lap. I still think Russell is really, really going to be in there for the title this season. I think his car is really good. He's really, really driving good, especially in race trim. He's looking good. Russell, you can see that Mercedes car looks a lot better than last season. A lot better. He just looks ready. People are not really looking at the Mercedes car at the moment. People are more concentrating on McLaren and Ferrari. But I'm telling you, that Mercedes car, if you look at the last couple of races, it's looking good. Q3, Russell went first, like I said. Piastri at the end of the Q3. Piastri done the last runs. Max Verstappen was first. Piastri was second, and Norris. Yeah, Max was first. Lando Norris was second. Oscar Piastri was third. So right at the end, the qualifying, Max Verstappen got pole. What was your thoughts on Max Verstappen getting pole? Then we're going to the race.
I don't like Max, but I've got to give it him, mate. It was unexpected.
Yep.
You think about his sectors, it was green, yellow, and he didn't even get a fast sector either.
No.
He didn't even get the fastest sector. He must have had a really strong second sector to make that first sector stick.
Yeah.
Because Piastri was neck and neck.
Piastri the last two sectors, Piastri was the fastest.
Yeah. But the thing is, Verstappen had a more of a consistent lap.
Yeah.
And maybe just at the end, he had a quick, nice exit.
Yeah.
Which caused him to get that time. But you got to admit that was good.
It was a good lap.
Set the track record. I don't like him, but you got to give credit where credit's due. At the end of the day, it was a really, really good lap.
Yeah.
In the Red Bull as well, which was really, really unexpected. Red Bull
was unexpected, but it's his fault. Remember, the Honda car, the Red Bull car, tends to win here. They've won it the last 4 years, so
yeah, it's Japan as well.
Yeah, Honda country in it, so they tend to win. Yeah, man, but he won it. He got pole. Second was we had the starting grid: Max Verstappen, Lando Norris, third Piastri, fourth Charles Leclerc, fifth place George Russell, sixth Kimi Antonelli, seventh Isaac Hadjar, Lewis Hamilton eighth. So Kimi Antonelli and Isaac Hadjar out qualifying Lewis Hamilton, starting on the grid before Lewis Hamilton. So look, we know that is the car. There's an issue with the car because there's no way them two would out qualify Lewis Hamilton. Let's face it. I know the future drivers, they might be champions. I don't know. But what was your thoughts on Lewis Hamilton coming 8th, starting 8th on the grid? So obviously, when he's starting 8th on the grid, what was your thoughts on Lewis Hamilton starting 8th on the grid? Total.
I just think it weren't really.
Yeah.
I was looking at my notes.
Don't tell everyone.
I just well, not notes, but bullet
no,
points,
no, no.
segments. What I want to do.
I'm doing it
Not
now,
really
bro, don't
notes. But yeah, look, I think I don't think it weren't a surprise. And like you were talking about, like you were talking about the wings and that. Lewis Hamilton weren't really doing as good all weekend.
He was all right in practice
this week. Yeah, but I'm on about like him and Leclerc. Leclerc always got the better of him.
Yeah, I know that, but what I'm saying, he come 8th and finger out and beat him. Kim Antonelli and Isaac Hadjar both beat Lewis Hamilton in qualifying. Don't you think that's not a shock to you?
I don't think Lewis Hamilton was really used to. Yeah, of course it's a shock. You think about it that way. Of course it's a shock that Hamilton. No, Hadjar don't fit him.
Yeah, but the starting grid, did he get a penalty of it, Lewis Hamilton?
No, it was noted for impeding, but I'm not sure if he actually got it.
But what I'm saying, the starting grid, I've got starting grid: Max Verstappen, Lando Norris, Oscar Piastri, Charles Leclerc, George Russell, Kimi Antonelli, Isaac Hadjar, Lewis Hamilton. That was the starting grid.
Yeah, it is a bit shocking. It is shocking. But all weekend Hamilton wasn't really used to that
qualified him. They beat him.
Yeah, I know, but Hamilton wasn't really used to that car this weekend.
I know.
Yeah, he was all right in practice, I understand, but like regarding like practice 1, he finished 4th, and practice 2, finished 4th again. Practice 3, he finished 5th. So yeah, he was hovering that top 5, top 4 range. But Hamilton didn't really was used to the car. Practice 3, he got 6th place. You know, it weren't good for Lewis Hamilton this weekend, in my opinion, at all. So it is a shock. It is a shock on something you said. So it is a shock that Hadjar
the car let him down, innit?
But regarding the wings, what you just mentioned about the rear wing being too stiff, that's probably was a factor as well. Yeah. But all weekend, as Leclerc got the better of him. Yeah, practice 1, 2, he finished above Leclerc.
Yeah,
that's just practice 1 and 2.
Exactly.
Practice 3,
exactly.
Usually, you know, it weren't good for Lewis Hamilton.
People get carried away sometimes, you know, with the practice sessions.
Yeah.
But anyway,
practice 1, I think, is the most used out of all of them, in my opinion.
So I know. Now practice 2, I think practice 3. I think they should only have 2 practices. Practice 1 on the second day, and on day 2, practice 2. That's it.
I don't get it. Practice 3 and qualify or not.
I know.
But, you know, it's more action.
Why they should get rid of practice 3. Anyway, let's start with the race. So the race, the best start, obviously Max Verstappen got the better start. Lando Norris couldn't really get to him. Oscar Piastri stayed behind Lando Norris. And after that, it was a snooze fest. It was all about tyre management. Lewis Hamilton started on the hard tyres. I think him and who was the one at the back? I think it was Lewis Hamilton and Lance Stroll were the only ones on the hard tyres, I think. The rest of them was on the medium tyres. So basically, when the race started, when Max got in front, we knew what was going to happen. After about 15 laps, look, the only way that the McLaren are going to pass Max if he's in the pits. That's the only way. Max came in, so lap 19, that triggers the pit stop. So I think he came in first. I think it was George Russell came in first. I think it was lap 19 that triggered the pit stop. Lap 20, Piastri pitted early to cover off Russell, because when Russell came in first, he was gaining time. But I think Russell made a mistake, in my opinion. I think Russell should have stayed out a bit longer, because when he pitted at lap 19, that kind of compromised his position to try and go through the pack, because like I said, it's very hard to overtake. If this was Bahrain, or if this was Silverstone or any track like that, Russell pitting first would have worked out, but because it is Suzuka, he couldn't really gain the positions, so that triggered the pit stop at lap 19. Piastri came in on lap 20 to cover off Russell, which I don't think he should have, like I said. Lap 22, all came in at once. Max Verstappen, Lando Norris and Leclerc all came in at once. Then when they came out, it was Max Verstappen and Lando side by side. It looked like Max Verstappen pushed him over. Lando Norris called for it on the radio and said he pushed me off. What was your thoughts on this? Did you think Max Verstappen pushed over Lando Norris onto the gravel. Honest to truth now. Don't just do it because you hate Max Verstappen. I'm going to tell you, can I give you my opinion?
Yeah, go on.
I'm going to give him my opinion. My opinion is, I don't think he did. Because I saw his front, I saw his wheel, his steering wheel. I saw his steering wheel, Max Verstappen, and I never seen him turn left or right. He just kept it straight. So that gives me my opinion. I just don't think he pushed him over. I think Lando Norris was looking for something that wasn't there, and that's just my opinion.
True. I think.
Pick up Benjamin again.
You think about it.
Liking it? Go on.
If you think about it from a front point of view,
yeah.
Front point of view, like a camera angle kind of view, like when I saw it the first time, I was thinking, yeah, what you doing, Verstappen? You pushed him off.
Yeah.
If you see it from a front point of view, Verstappen wasn't even turning into it.
Nah.
I think Lando was trying to get close to him, and then go off and try get a decision. But if you think about it from an onboard point of view, Verstappen didn't do nothing.
I don't think he did either.
This is non-biased point of view. Verstappen didn't really turn into him or nothing like that. Now, if he fully turned into him, you see his car just slowly just turn him off like that.
Yeah.
But it was just going straight. So
this is what I mean. We've got to be honest on this show. We can't just say, oh look, we know we're not the biggest Red Bull Max Verstappen fans, but we've got to call it how it is. He didn't push him over. I saw his wheel. His wheel didn't turn. Hands on the wheel. Went out the pit normal like this. There was no little jerk. There was no sudden jerk with the steering wheel. It just went out. I think Lando was looking for something, tried to squeeze through, and Max Verstappen just held his line. That's all it was. This is why he didn't get penalised, in my opinion. If I'm wrong, please put it in the comment section or in the chat room. Now, lap 30, Lewis locks up a little bit as he come into the pits, and after he put on the hard tyre because he waited towards the end, not the end, but just past halfway. I think Lewis could have went a little bit longer on the hard tyres, in my opinion. I don't know why he's coming so early. So after that, Lewis Hamilton's race was nothing really to he ended up finished 7th in the race, so he only gained 1 position in the entire race. So we started in 8th and finished in 7th. Charles Leclerc finished in 4th. So, and at the end, so we've just discussed about Lewis Hamilton. Lewis said there's something going on with his car, like I said at the beginning of the video. We talked about that. Said that he's something to do with. He said he mentioned the part that they're trying to get in his car. He said it's stiff on the high fuel, and it's waiting for the new component. So at the end, we could see the 2 McLaren cars chasing down Max Verstappen. I thought at one point of the race that Max Verstappen was going to get caught, but he weren't to be. Lando Norris settled for 2nd. 3rd was Oscar Piastri. So the final results for the race was Max Verstappen let him 1st, Lando Norris 2, Oscar Piastri 3, 4th Charles Leclerc, 5th George Russell, 6th Kimi Antonelli, 7th Lewis Hamilton, 8th Isaac Hadjar, 9th Alexander Albon, 10th Oliver Bierman, which is a very good racer, by the way. He's a good racer, that Bierman. British driver as well. Alonso 11th, 12th Yuki Tsunoda, 13th Pierre Gasly, 14th Carlos Sainz, 15th Jack Doohan, 16th Nico Hülkenberg, 17th Liam Lawson, 18th Esteban Ocon, 19th Gabriel Bortelli, and 20th Lance Stroll. So that was the race. But before we go, let's start talking about this driver swap with Liam Lawson and Yuki Tsunoda. Now, what's your thoughts on this, Toto?
About what?
Tsunoda, yeah. Tsunoda
going to Red Bull.
Yeah.
You can see there's an improvement in terms of like where he's finished. I think. Where did he finish in this Japanese Grand Prix?
The race was Yuki Tsunoda
finished 12th.
12th. So, it was weird for me. He looked good in practice. He looked like he was close to Max Verstappen in practice, didn't he?
Didn't he top practice?
I don't think he did. He was close though. He was in practice 1. He was a 1 behind Max Verstappen. He's 6. So in practice 1, he was 6, yeah. And Max Verstappen was 5th. In practice 2, Yuki, where was Yuki Tsunoda in practice 2? 18th. So I don't know what they've done there. So must have dialed his car back. I don't know. And in practice 3, where was he again? Yuki. He was 9th. So practice 1 was his best session. After that, he kind of went down in the race. He kind of went down as well. What do you think of Yuki Tsunoda? Because we know he's not going to win nothing in Red Bull. Christian Horner came out in the record and said he's there to assist Max Verstappen. That's basically you ain't winning nothing. Now, if that was Lewis Hamilton or Charles Leclerc, anyone like that, yeah. And the Ferrari guy said that, and the McLaren, if Toto, yeah, came out in the press and said to the Sky Sports, yeah, they come out to Sky Sports and they said Bottas is here to assist Hamilton. How do you think that the media would react?
About Bottas assisting Hamilton?
Yeah, if Toto, yeah, when they was together, you remember when they was together with Mercedes? If Toto came out and said to the media, Bottas is here to assist Hamilton, how do you think that the media would react? Because when Horner said that Yuki Tsunoda is only here to assist Max Verstappen, they never said anything. They just said, okay, that's cool. But you imagine if Toto said that.
It's a difference because, you know, Bottas, because they'll friend the narrative, you only won the title because Bottas was assisting you and all that, and Bottas couldn't really have a chance. You can see all the narrative that, you know, the media would put out. Oh yeah, but he's getting the help from Bottas. He's getting the help from whatever. You know, it's that kind of narrative. Of course, not even the media, the fans. You know, the fans they're dead to me, really. Whatever to say, it's most of the media what I care about, and you can see the narratives they put out. That they will put out about Lewis and all that, saying that he's getting the assist of Bottas. Look, we know this. We all know that happens year in year out without fail. They're quick to spread the Lewis about the narrative about Lewis, but when Max does anything wrong, even Lewis said in the interview, if Max does something wrong or says bad something on the radio, it's just easy. It's just another day. We just completely forget about it. That's basically how the media presenters roll.
So what is your thoughts now after this weekend, yeah? Are you glad this weekend's over?
Yeah, I'm glad. I'm really glad. It was probably the most boring weekend in, I won't say the history of Formula One. You can put up there.
All right, so
there was no overtaking opportunities, no proper action. It was just pure strategy, which I don't mind, but I like a bit of action as well.
All right, so the Ferrari guy, this is today on the website. This is 3 hours ago. Vassier admits to not an ideal start for Ferrari in 2025 and addresses ride height concerns. So they're saying it's the ride height, just what Lewis Hamilton said. Something to do with the rear wing, the ride height as well. He said, Lewis Hamilton said they need to stiffen it up. And he said it's too stiff, and that's what's costing him as well. So the team's principal said, Ferrari team principal Fred Vasseur conceded it hasn't been an ideal start in 2025 for the Ferrari following a disappointing race in Japan, with Charles Leclerc finishing 4th and Lewis Hamilton finishing 7th. It leaves Ferrari without a Grand Prix podium for the first 3 races 2025, although they temporarily won the sprint race and then got taken away from him regarding penalties. However, Leclerc's P4 start in Japan is the best grid slot either teammate has managed for the Grand Prix proper, as they watch rivals McLaren, Red Bull and Mercedes make strong starts to the season. It puts Ferrari in a very similar spot to that from last season, but they did turn their form around in 2024 and even won a handful of races, including a memorable success in Monaco and Monza. So they're looking up. Fred Vasseur said it hasn't been an ideal start in the Grand Prix, but he's confident that they will make up time, make up speed and good positions in the near future. So yeah, it is what it is. Look, I'm gonna be head off in a minute, and we'll see what happens in Bahrain, which will start on Friday. We will be talking about Bahrain on Thursday. We're doing a video on Thursday regarding Bahrain, F1 weekend, me and Toto Hammer. So Toto, you got anything to say before we head off, bro? I'm not sure. You got anything to say before we head off, bro?
I was doing something there, sorry. Something to say prepared off. I'll just say thank you for the support on the channel.
Yeah.
We're nearly on 5.3k. Literally done 5.27 about half an hour ago. Now we're about 100 away from 5.3k. That 6k is coming, man.
Yeah.
If you think about it, sooner or later we'll be on 6k subs. So keep subscribing, keep liking, keep sharing to your friends. If your friends are interested, share it to your friends. You know, interested about football, sports, we cover WWE pay-per-views, Formula 1 and football, but the main sports are Formula 1 and football. Of course, when the football season's over, it's more Formula 1.
Yeah.
And maybe a bit
And
more wrestling as well.
well.
So yeah, football last season, primary sports will be Formula 1 and WWE. But usually when football's on, it's Formula 1 and football.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So this week we're going to be busy. Tuesday is going to be some watch-alongs on Tuesday. Champions League watch-alongs. Wednesday is going to be Champions League watch-alongs. Thursday we're going to be doing the F1 weekend. We're going to be talking about the Bahrain, the weekend like we do. That'll be the podcast one. We're on iTunes, on Spotify, Amazon Music, and Deezer, Stitcher. All the logos at the bottom there. So go on there and type in Keep It Sports Podcast, and you'll see us on there. We're still putting legacy episodes on there from last year, from some stuff on there which we need to finish. I've got 2 more episodes to finish. We'll do that probably tomorrow, just to record 10 minutes per video. Plus Friday is going to be the watch along for Friday, and practice 1, practice 2, and qualifying on Saturday as well. So we've got a lot. We're busy this week, and plus Liverpool play on Sunday as well. We're going to be doing the player lineup for that as well. So every single day this week there will be something on the channel for you to watch. I want to thank everybody who supports us on this channel. We have hit 5k. We hit 5k a couple of days ago. We're on now 5,228 subscribers. I'm so happy that the channel's gone in the right direction. All the hard work that we put in from day one, 2017, when we was only on I remember when we was on like 800 subscribers for a year, maybe longer. And then we got to that 1,1400 mark for 3 years.
Yeah.
And we kept going because we love doing it. We just love making content, putting it out there for people to enjoy. So when people, what I want you to do, guys, when you watch this video and all our future videos, please leave a comment in the comment section and leave some feedback and tell us what you think we could do better on this channel. But big up to every man there. Yeah, big up to everybody.
Big up, man.
Now let's get this intro on. Where's my intro, man? There you go. Where's my intro? Yeah, I'm just trying to get the intro on.
Yeah, but just to finish off,
1 second, go on.
From my side, I'll be streaming. Maybe not today, maybe tomorrow. I'll be streaming. But depends. You know, if there's enough time in the day, I will go on the stream because, you know, I usually stream every single week without fail.
Yeah.
Without fail, every single week. So keep an eye on the notifications. TikTok as well. TikTok's growing fast, man.
Go. TikTok.
So yeah, big up.
So big up to the man then, big up to the woman, and this is the F1 Grand Prix weekend, Japanese Grand Prix, round 3 in the bag, and we'll move to round 4, which we'll be talking about on Thursday as well. That'll be the podcast on YouTube and Spotify. See you later, guys. Big up. I'm sorry that the video was boring. I know it was boring because the weekend was boring. So we tried to make something out of something and it just didn't work, did it? So big up to the man then, big up to the woman then. See you later, guys. Boy!
On the brakes, Leclerc